Okay, so we stopped at this program. Next is signed and unsigned integers. So in C, you can define signed and unsigned using direct value. That is, for unsigned, you have to write unsigned. Otherwise, everything is signed, which can hold uh, basically 0, positive, and negative value. Whereas unsigned can only hold positive values or 0. Okay. So whenever you declare a signed variable, x can only vary between 0 to 2 raised to 32 minus 1. Whereas if you consider the first limit y, it can hold any value between minus 2 raised to 31 to 2 raised to 31 minus 1. Why this minus 1 is there? That is because you also have 0 every time being used by one thing. Okay, even if you saw in the octal system, I was going from 0 to 7, not up to 8, because 0 is one value always getting added. So that's why it is always 0 to 7 or 0 to 31 or 0 to 15, not 16. Okay. The other types in data C programming are bool, which is for boolean, and then something called as enumerated type and complex type. We will see that as in when we go to the mathematical operations. So next is derived data types. So there are some data types which are derived from the fundamental data types. For example, arrays, pointer, function types, and structures are called as derived data types. Now again, all these are alien words for us. Don't worry, we will see as and when we write a code for it. We have already seen the first output statement in C programming, but still we will study it today properly. So the output statement, or the most commonly used output statement, should I say like that, in C programming is printf. Now this f came from file. Initially they used to say everything as a file, and that's why it is print to the file, and that's why printf. But it is one of the main output functions. Function sends formatted output to the screen. For example, if you write this simple program, hash include stdio.h int main, then print C programming, return 0. So this is a simple program to output from a C language, and it will display on screen C programming. Now, what is there inside this program? Let's understand. So your output came as C programming. The first thing it started with the main function. So remember, all the C program must have a main function. You can't write 10 functions and without using main execute them. So main program function is must. Okay, so you should have this particular keyword into your C program. Otherwise, C program will get executed and nothing will happen. Okay. Next thing is printf. It is a library function send a formatted output to the screen. The function prints the string inside the quotations. So whatever you put inside the quotations, that will be printed onto the screen. To use printf into the program, a program must have stdio.h, which is the header file, which we do using a command hash include, then space, the signs of greater than and less than, and in between we write stdio.h statement. And finally, a return statement inside a main function allows us to exit the program when it is optional. Next is integer output. So this first program was just to print out the character output. Now if you want to display an integer, so for example, let's look at this particular code. Hash include stdio.h int main bracket open bracket close curly bracket open close int test integer equal to 5. Okay. Now printf num id percent d. So we have seen this percent d is for the integers, and then give comma, and then you give a value of test integer. Okay. So test integer, if you, it will be substituted at this percentage d, and answer will be number equal to 5. Okay. So this is the way you can output an integer in an C program and return 0. Okay. I want you all to try out this without writing this colon %d. Just type test integer and see what kind of error you get in this particular code. Okay. Now we use %d for printing out integer values, and it will change depending upon what data type you have. Next is float input and double output. So here float and double are the two numbers declared. Include stdio.h int main bracket open close curly bracket float number 1 13.5 number 2 12.4 printf percentage f slash n number 1 then printf percentage slash lf. Now double can also work with percentage f. You can try this thing out. You remove this lf, just keep percentage f comma and then number 2 which is your double and then return. You will see number 1 equal to 13.5. Now these extra zeros are added by the program itself. Okay, and even percent lf will be 12.4 and then this percent other zeros by program. So to point out the float we use percent f specifier, and to print out the double we use percent lf. Now print character. So character printing is again simple. Include stdio.h int main then character a then you just display character %c char return 0 and output equal to character a. So see, only difference is it's always same. Double quote, whatever you want to say, you say it equal to, then percentage will be the fill in the blank where the new number is gonna come and sit, and then close of the quote, and then char. Okay. So next thing is so %c for the char. Now C can use scanf for the input. Okay. So this is another important thing. We have already seen how to output it from a C program. Scanf is another popular command to take an input from the C program. So one of the commonly used function. Remember, this is not the only used function. There are other functions to take input to the C program, but scanf is most popular one. So how to use this particular command? So include stdio.h int main int test integer. Just declared the test integer, but we haven't assigned any value to this test integer. Then printf enter an integer colon space. Now we are waiting for user to enter an integer. Then you use a command scanf, then double quote %d and then write and test integer. So what this will do is this ampersand is very important. This is a new thing. While printing, you are not putting this ampersand, but while reading from the screen, you have to put this ampersand before your variable name. Then printf number, test integer, and return 0. Okay. So this is how the output look like. Enter integer a number and then number equal to 4 that you are displayed. Now if somebody enters 8, it will display 8 and so on. So here we have used %d formatter inside the scanf function to take an int as an input, and whenever it enters a input, it's stored as an integer area. Now if you enter a over here, it will throw an error because a is not a correct integer format. Even if you enter 11.2, that is wrong. Okay. Notice we have used and test integer inside scanf because and test integer gets to the address of test integer. So it will take you to the address of test integer and store the value at that particular address. Next is how to take double or floating input points. Okay. So here you will take double and floating input output point by using float and double command. So here you declare float num1, double num2, printf enter a number, take that number, enter another number, take that second number. But here you have to write %lf. Okay, and then print number 1, number 2, return. Okay. So now we are going to write a program to take your 12th marks and print them onto the screen. Okay. So you will ask user to enter its 12th mark subject wise, and then it will display the result onto the screen. Okay. This is the program we are going to write now, and I will stop recording now. If you have any doubts, you can ask me.